When we step into the realm of Marvel and DC's most mysterious and overwhelming entities, the battle between Protege and Elaine Belloc immediately sparks endless debates. Both characters are rarely discussed compared to popular heroes and villains, yet they hold powers so immense that their presence challenges the very fabric of omnipotence itself. On one side stands Protege, Marvel's mysterious child of infinite potential who can mimic any power he observes. On the other side rises Elaine Belloc, a DC character from the Vertigo and Lucifer mythos, who eventually ascends to become the embodiment of the presence itself. What happens when the ultimate mimic of Marvel faces the ultimate divine being of DC? This narrative will carefully explore their origins, their abilities, their weaknesses, and finally build toward a conclusion that answers the burning question: who would truly win in this cosmic confrontation? Who is Protege? Protege is one of the strangest and most dangerous characters Marvel has ever introduced. Emerging in the Guardians of the Galaxy comics from Earth 691, Protege is often described as a child of the Universal Church of Truth, carrying within him an ability that terrifies even the highest cosmic entities. His unique gift is absolute power mimicry. The moment Protege witnesses a being using their abilities, he can replicate those powers instantly. This means if he sees someone manipulate reality, he can manipulate reality as well. If he sees someone wield omniscient perception, he can echo it. At one point, Protege even mimicked the powers of the Living Tribunal, one of the most supreme beings in Marvel cosmology. What makes him especially threatening is not only his power to copy but also his potential for limitless growth. Theoretically, given enough exposure, Protege could rise to omnipotence itself, rivaling and even surpassing the most godlike entities. However, Protege does have restrictions that define his place in the hierarchy. He must see a power in action to mimic it, meaning unseen or passive powers can escape his grasp. Furthermore, powers rooted in technology or artifacts rather than inherent abilities are usually outside his reach. His control over stolen abilities can also lack finesse, as replication does not always equal mastery. Finally, his story arc reveals that even with this terrifying mimicry, he is not unstoppable, as cosmic forces like Skathan the Approver were able to resist and defeat him. Thus, Protege is a being of terrifying possibility, yet one bound by rules that prevent him from becoming an untouchable constant. Who is Elaine Belloc? On the DC side, Elaine Belloc begins as an innocent human girl with a mysterious heritage, introduced in the Vertigo title Lucifer. She eventually discovers that she is the daughter of the Archangel Michael Demiurgos, one of the most powerful beings in existence. Through trials of destiny and immense sacrifice, Elaine not only inherits her father's divine power but also merges with the entirety of creation itself. By the end of her journey, Elaine becomes the new presence, effectively assuming the role of the supreme god within her universe. As the presence, Elaine possesses true omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. She is not merely a wielder of cosmic force but the very embodiment of reality and divinity in her world. Elaine can create and unmake universes with thought alone. She is beyond time, beyond space, and beyond limitation. Her powers are not transferable or replicable, and her awareness of all things ensures that no deception, no trick, and no theft of her essence can occur. In fact, Elaine's nature is written in such a way that she cannot be manipulated or copied, making her one of the most secure portrayals of divinity in DC's mythology. By all accounts, Elaine's ascension cements her as a being at the very top of her hierarchy, a place where even archangels, demons, and gods must bow in acknowledgement of her supremacy. Comparing their powers and limits. Now, when we set Protege and Elaine Belloc side by side, the clash becomes both fascinating and complicated. Protege thrives on adaptability. He does not bring his own arsenal but builds one by observing and replicating the might of others. In a Marvel setting, this makes him nearly unstoppable once he has access to a diverse array of powers. However, his greatest strength is also his greatest limitation. If Elaine does not visibly display her divine power, Protege cannot copy it. And even if he could mimic some aspect of her ability, Elaine's divinity is inherently non-transferable. Her status as the presence makes her beyond replication, meaning the very rules of her existence protect her from Protege's mimicry. Furthermore, Elaine's omniscience means she knows exactly what Protege would attempt before he even acts. She could deny him the very opportunity to observe or intervene in ways he could never anticipate. On the other hand, Protege's theoretical omnipotence, if allowed to progress infinitely, might seem to challenge Elaine. But it is important to remember that his story has already proven he is defeatable. He has been stopped by entities below true omnipotence, showing that his rise to ultimate supremacy is not inevitable nor absolute. Elaine, by contrast, occupies a state of being that is not dependent on mimicry or growth. She is already the supreme entity. Her power does not require observation, combat, or strategy, it is the foundation of her reality. The fact that her divinity cannot be stolen, lied to, or manipulated creates a clear safeguard against any attempt Protege might muster. While Protege is terrifyingly versatile, Elaine is the immovable, eternal constant, one that exists above the very game he plays. The final verdict. So, who wins in the ultimate battle of Protege versus Elaine Belloc? The answer lies not just in their powers but in the very mechanics of their existence. Protege may copy the powers of cosmic entities and briefly rise to astonishing heights, but Elaine is not simply another entity. She is the presence. She is the ultimate divine authority, omnipotent and unstealable. Even if Protege attempted to reach into her realm, Elaine's omniscience would see it coming, and her omnipotence would deny it instantly. In a narrative sense, Protege is a fascinating exploration of infinite potential and the fear of what happens when power has no ceiling. He represents the childlike idea of limitless growth, a being who can take and become whatever he sees. But the danger of Protege is that he is still bound to imitation. His powers depend on others existing before him, on others displaying their gifts for him to steal. He is never original, never truly the source. Elaine, however, is the embodiment of finality, the origin itself. She does not grow into omnipotence, she is omnipotence. She does not reach upward toward divinity, she is already divine in the most absolute sense. Against such a divine truth, Protege's mimicry loses its edge. Even if he managed to replicate aspects of her presence or her creative force, Elaine's essence is beyond duplication. Her omniscience ensures she knows his every move before he makes it, and her omnipotence ensures those moves are meaningless against her infinite will. She is not just a step above him, she is the ceiling of power itself, the point at which all potential ends. Therefore, in the grand comparison of Marvel's Mimic versus DC's Goddess, the result is unmistakable: Elaine Belloc wins. She is not just victorious in combat but in concept. While Protege's story is one of ambition and terrifying possibility, Elaine represents completion and inevitability. As the living embodiment of the presence, she surpasses all attempts at imitation, standing eternally as the ultimate victor in this cosmic showdown, a being who cannot be challenged, cannot be stolen from, and cannot be dethroned. Elaine Belloc reigns supreme, forever unshaken, forever absolute. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.